and gentlemen, it is my privilege to introduce our guest reader tonight. I am so happy to have this man here, direct from the Mystere stage. Put your hands together for Mr. R.J. Owens, everybody.
Hi, everybody. I love it. You're all sitting on the ground. This is fantastic. And I'm very happy to be back. Well, be allowed back into Barnes & Noble. I used to do a lot of readings in Barnes & Noble over in the kids section until what is now being referred to as the Everybody Poops incident. And back here since then. So it's good to be back. Hi, young man. What's your name? We'll call you Fred. Okay. I have not read this book yet, so this is all going to be blind. Because I figured Paul would not want me to read the book first before I read it in public. That being said, everybody pull out your books and read along. Christmapus, the Christmas Octopus, a tentacled Yuletide tale by Paul Mattingly and F. Andrew Taylor. Shh. I'm reading. 'Twas the day after Christmas, and up in the sky, Santa Claus and his reindeer were flying so high. All of the presents were given away, an empty toy sack on the floor of his sleigh. Their mission complete, they headed for home, flying over the ocean, all full of sea foam. When all of a sudden, the wind blew a gale, and off of his head, Santa's hat, it did sail. Down fell the hat, to the sea waves below. It was swallowed and sank very deep, very slow. Under a reef, unaware of the hat, the octopus Chris reclined as he sat. He knew not of Christmas or Santa or snow, for there was no Christmas in the ocean below. No presents, no tree, no carols or bells, no Christmas at all below the blue swells. But that, my dear friends, was all set to change. As the hat met his head, Chris was feeling quite strange. Santa's hat, it was magic, full of holiday cheer. Chris was transformed. Christmapus did appear. His 8 long legs lit up like a star, and his smile grew wide as the light shone afar. The fish saw the light for miles around as Christmapus rose from the sea to dry ground. There on the shore he crawled to the beach. An old rusty wagon he was able to reach. Barry the wino, asleep on the sand, awoke and decided to give Chris a hand. With his shiny red nose leading the way, where does we go? He drunkenly say. Christmapus pointed towards the shops in the town. Barry pulled the wagon, dragging Christmapus round. Christmapus. They stopped at the butcher for sausage and cheese. Barry ate from the trash on his hands and knees. Now loaded with meat, the wagon was full. 'Twas almost too heavy for Barry to pull. Still pull it he did. House to house they did go, giving sausage to children whose grades were too low, or did not excel in sports or good looks, or were otherwise left off of Santa's gift books. Yes, all the plain children, not special at all, no matter how boring, no matter how small, no matter how timid, no matter how scared, Christmapus showed them that somebody cared. Barry kept pulling to every kid, and only one child refused meat from a squid. With all of the sausage dispensed to their cause, who should appear but old Santa Claus? "Give me my hat!" he yelled at the pair, and he snatched it and covered his thinning gray hair. "Just what the heck is this all about? An octopus pulled by a drunken lout? Well, not on my watch," he said with no smile. Santa Claus had been watching them both for a while. From a camera inside of his hat, he had seen Chris and Barry's adventure on his big North Pole screen. I admire your spunk and your spirit of Yule, but you can't just give gifts to any old fool. Some kids don't deserve it. They don't make my list. You mess with my system, the jolly elf hissed. Go back to the ocean, stop drinking, you slob, and leave me alone to do my dang job. With that, Santa flew to his sleigh overhead, cracked the whip on his reindeer. To the North Pole they sped. Barry said, "Oh yeah, Chris, I'm out of here. I started to leave you, but I need a beer." Barry walked off, leaving Chris in the wagon. He needed some water, his tentacles sagging. Christmas worried that this was the end when he heard a small voice say, "Here you go, friend." One of the children, so boring and dim, was there with some water in time to save him. The tyke she pulled Chris all the way back to shore where the sand meets the water where he started before. "Santa's a jerk," said the child to Chris. Chris nodded his head. He was so octo-pissed. Chris slipped from the side of the wagon he found and basked in the cool of the wet sandy ground. The child waved goodbye, and Chris swam away, back down to the reef after such a long day. Reclining again in his chair, he opined on thoughts of the hat fate forced him to find. Thanks, Paul.
Yeah.
Christmas, he thought, is cruel and unfair. Some bask in their gifts while others despair. And why such a fuss over one single day? Shouldn't you always give sausage away? And who was this Santa to judge and decree who deserved Christmas and who was naughty? The thought of it all nearly made him feel sick, and he turned off the lights with a tentacle flick. Chris fell asleep, his heart satisfied, but he had not saved Christmas, but at least he had tried. So the next time you lay out the cookies and milk, don't forget Christmas and all of his ilk. The drunk and the timid, the plain and the small, the ones all forgotten from St. Nick's call. In place of the cookies, leave a sausage instead. So Santa's reminded Christmas is not dead.